Good evening, everybody. Welcome. It is Thursday night. We are racing ACC with what we call our British Tour. This is a 60-minute race this evening. We do have 16 drivers that are joining us. The format for tonight is a 15-minute qualifier, which is a one-lap flyer, which the guys in the lobby have saying it's a little bit nerve-wracking, only getting that one lap, but this is exactly why we do it. We expect the highest quality of racing for the drivers, and we also know that we have fixed up the flying pole, so we've now cut directly into the qualifying, and it is going to be a one-lap flyer. Let's see who that is now just driven out. Just apologies, we have tried to get the confirm, there we go. We have tried to get our ACC drive to work, but for some reason we're just not getting it working. Not drive, apologies, race control. Now, where did Ervio go? So we do see a couple of cars going out onto the track. In a car, a 77, that is Etienne from the Luxury Time, a Bulldog Racing Academy. The guys going out nice and early to get these laps in. We are at the Silverstone Circuit. Bit of a tongue twister coming out there, but we're at Silverstone. There is no rain expected, but it is nice and overcast. So the guys will just need to be working a little bit on getting those tire pressures up and nice and early to make sure that when they hit that flying lap that they are going at the pace that they want to. We also were able to fix up the bonds. Let's find one of the bonds here quickly. And there we go, the Orion Racing livery, guys. It has loaded. Thank you to both Wayne and Adrian for your patience. The way you packaged the files this time around, it definitely did work better. So thank you very much. Guys, we are streaming live to both Facebook and YouTube, and it looks like we have sorted out the issues that we have. So if you are here, please drop us a message. Tell us that you're here. The drivers always love seeing those messages because they do watch the times later on. So out on track car, a 888, that is Hervé Marais. So he's currently on a flyer there. Tyler Humphreys just seen the car coming up behind him, getting himself out of the way, so thank you very much for that, Tyler. That's exactly what we like to see. Robert Stoltz for BMW Sim Racing. He is racing with Tyler Scott, car number 1 and 2 respectively. Do need to just get up those split times. But stand by, we will make sure that they do come through. Must say it is making it quite tricky. So we've got Cans that has joined us on the YouTube channel. So Cans, you get the props for the day, or the first person to join us. So thank you very much and welcome. Apologies for the view. We're just trying to get the split times to come up, so at least we are able to see the distance between the two cars. So 9 minutes left of the qualifying. And we found it. So there we go. Oh, currently Tyler up at the top there, 159.1 for him. Let's see who else is on the track at the moment. We have lost the map now. Great. Flip Vansel in the car number 4, followed by Wayne Bond for Ryan Racing. So happy that we were able to get the liveries loaded. But still not everybody getting out. Johan BDV from Sim Stuff Racing out on track in the Porsche. Robert Sauls has got a time up in the number 2 car, 7.2 seconds off Tyler Humphrey's time at the top there. So Flip Van Sale 0.5 off the time there. Wayne Bond 0.3 off the time. Sean Herrera 0.3. So far it looks like Tyler's dominating out in the top there. So the man in the picture, the pink McLaren, we've got a little like coming through there. Thank you very much for that, Natasha. Great to see you back. We did see that you did pop in the last time, well, last week I should say, but it did just miss the notification, so apologies for that, but at least this time we got it. So we've got Thomas Pistorius that has joined us. We know him as Samot, which is his original PlayStation PSID backwards. Thomas has been racing here and there with SARCO for the last couple of years, but great to see that he has come across and joining us here on the PC version. So less than a minute left of the qualifying, and I still can't find my little map. So if anybody knows how to get it on through the broadcast settings, unfortunately got a very interesting error trying to get the ACC race director on But we'll figure it out, and we will get the race going through. So there we go, the final standings. Tyler in a first place, that is Tyler Humphreys. Then it is Wayne, Sean, Ruan, Flip, Gerrit, Michael, Ervier, Etienne, Adrian, Tyler Scott. I think that was Wayne Robson that joined us. Thomas, Johan, Robert and Paul.
Seconds.
So there is a manual start which is done above the game, which will then take the guys up to the actual start of the game. Then there is a manual formation lap.
10 seconds.
We're seeing lots and lots of comments coming through. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining us here this evening. So just coming through on the chat, we've got Jamie. He's screaming there for Tyler Cans and saying, "Woohoo, Tyler!" I'm sure both Candy and Jamie are be watching very, very closely. We've got Gerrit Jansen van Rensburg. We know him as SARCO Sheep in the console community. He's saying a lekkere Owens, and here he is racing in a 6th place. It is going to be an absolutely cracker of a race. 16 drivers here this evening. I'm really glad that we were able to get the Orion Racing liveries loaded, because I must say the little decals that the guys have got on their car, it does look absolutely fantastic. Great shot down the hanger straight. Whoa, is Tyler goes a little bit wide. Just trying to get the heat into his tires. And guys, this is not a game operated formation lap. This is a manual formation lap. And the reason we do that is because we have the sprint series. Is if there is after the first race, there is a reverse grid, which then we change the top 6 drivers. And the reason we don't say that, well, there's a full one or there's not, is just to make sure that there is that consistency between the races and the start, so the guys get used to it. So we see Blixem and his wall. The team by Paul Fenter. In his, I think that was known as the banana color in the file itself. Wilfred Robson, not Wayne Robson. Sorry, Wilfred, but at least we're there. Eleanor Cheese and Wine. I quite like that name. Welcome. Tyler Scott, car number 1, Adrian Bond. Then Etienne for Luxury Time and the Bulldog Development Team. Advia in the Chic Quattro car. Peter Hardeman. Good evening, good evening, good evening. I hope the UK is treating you well, sir. Then we have Michael Struvic, nothing but Apex, in 12th place. Flip Van Sale in the Chic Quattro car as well. He is in 5th with Ruan Heineke for Lunatic Racing. Sean in the Extreme car for Chic, Wayne, Ryan Racing, and then Tyler. So now we have got the starting orders. As they head to the start-finish line, we will wait till they get past the start-finish line. So we are now a green, and racing here at the Silverstone under some cloudy conditions and no rain, however. We did have a little bit of an Eleanor race in the rain, and I must say, my apologies to all of those that I was involved with, I could say. That really did not work out according to plan. But out in front, ooh, nice little battle in the middle there. But Tyler getting himself a little bit of clear air there. Looks like there's going to be a move further down the field on the inside. Gerard Janssen van Vuren holding that inside line with Advia trying to go around the outside. Not enough space there for him, but will he have the line on the inside as he comes into? No, he does not. That's just breaking nice and hard into the bail there. We have seen Sean and the Bonds together. Wayne, big snap of the rear there as he came through. Tyler looking quite comfortable out in front there. Really opened a gap of 0.7. Advia and Gerard having a great little battle here. Advia right on that rear bumper. Wolfer trying to close up on Tyler Scott with Thomas a little bit further back. Now into left field. Wolford still looking for an opportunity to get himself closer to Tyler. You can see taking a lot of that curb with him. We see some more guys tuning in. We've got Lewin Governor joining us, LG. He's saying, hey, DH. LG, how's it? So you ready? The pack starting to close up, and there's lots of action happening down the middle of the field here. But it does look like Advia was able to get past, and not only Advia, but Michael Struvic as well, around Gerard Janssen van Rensburg. Michael looking to the inside, not enough space. A little dive down the inside there. So a Flip Van Sale in 5th place. Gerard running a little bit wide there with Advia on his inside. Will there be too wide? I went one too many, but it looks like Advia was able to get himself ahead. Going in through... Well, I've lost myself there. Here, going into Abbey. Now coming out of the loop. Right on the back of Advia. He got a really good drive there. So now will there be an opportunity to get that slipstream and have a look on the inside? Yes, he's already made that look. Already squeezing Advia a little bit wider. But Avia now on the inside. Will he hold the line through the hairpin? Yes, he does. The two drivers giving itself enough respect that is required, and that is what we want to see here, guys. This is the type of racing that we see here at SARCO. Absolutely fantastic. Guys, giving the space, yet racing really, really hard. Thank you very much there, Peter, for the share. Hopefully we'll get some more viewers coming and joining us. Just going to jump to the top three. But Tyler out in front. 1.8 seconds is the gap between the man we've got in shot. That is Wayne Bond. And Sean Loureiro is really closing down on him. He's staying within a couple of tenths of a second. A little snap off the curb there. But so far all is good. I see a little strategic pit stop there made by Paul Fenter. Really gone into the pits. And that's possibly to get himself out of the battles. Get those laps in. And then hopefully allow himself to get a few places. But there is some nice battles happening here. Advia starting to close up on the back of Michael. Now that he's been able to get away from the SARCO sheep. But I'm looking, Gerard is a little bit further down. Move to the inside. Big on the brakes there. Michael opening up and allowing the space. So even though Avia threatened to go in, he didn't dive. And he kind of just forced Michael out, even though it looked like Avia wasn't going to have the dive there. But that now drops Michael down to 7th place and Avia up into 6th. Do you see some action happening between Tyler and Wilfred still? The L&R Cheese and Wine driver is really keeping Tyler Scott on his toes here in that BMW. Comment coming through from Can saying she'd like some cheese and wine to watch the races. Well, Cans, I'm sure we can make that happen. So Gerard Jansen van Rensburg, van Vier, I keep saying van Rensburg. Sorry, Gerard. Sorry. Deciding to go into the pits and take that, get that pit stop out of the way. But there's definitely been something that's happened up on top, because Tyler, he is no longer in first place. That is now Wayne and Sean. Wayne in first and Sean in second, with Tyler, even though he's currently got the fastest lap, he's down into third place. So he'll have to just regroup there, get his composure back, and hopefully get some more positions up there. And just to think, we've only had 10 minutes past of this race. So there is the top 5. It's always fantastic when you see the cars so close, especially in that one shot. So the 187 of Wayne Bond currently out on top, followed closely by Sean Loureiro and Tyler. 159.592. That was for Wayne, so that is still his best lap, but still not as quick as Tyler's. See Sean 159.3, while Tyler a 159.1. So he's got about a 0.3 of a second on the man currently leading. So I'm sure this will show how the places will end up later on in the race. See, there is another little battle happening further down. And this is between Johan VDV and Robert Stoltz. And just ahead of them in the shot is Thomas. So nice little battle, and this is one of the things. Oh, it looks like I was about to say, it looks like Johan VDV lost that place to Robert, but it was actually Robert that went straight off going through maggots. So now into Stowe, very close, just about putting the tires on the dirt there. So apologies, it wasn't Robert, it was Thomas that went off there. Let's just go back to the front, and that time wasn't 0.6 of a second. It's now opened that gap to 1 second. So now it looks like Wayne's starting to just find himself a little bit of space. And while we saw Avria getting away from Michael's still within that second, so there is still the opportunities to start closing down that gap, getting the slipstream advantage when we're going onto the long straights. That was lots and lots of cutting of the corner there. Mr. Daniel Morales Sr. Sir, Code Coconuts. Yes, we are Code Coconuts, 100%. Daniel tuning in all the way from the US. Not many forwards here this evening, unfortunately, Daniel, but do appreciate you tuning in. So just looking at the green blocks down at the bottom. So that is the drivers that have pitted. So between Gerard and Paul Venter, just on 3 seconds. And we know when Gerard had pitted, he was in about that 6th, 7th position, which would possibly get Paul up to around about 8th or 9th. So once these pit stops start playing out, it's going to be very interesting to see where he is going to fall in line. But Tyler now closing up onto the back of Wilfred. Tyler a little bit too deep there, because you can see that next angle through the veil was a little bit too tight. Now heading through the farm, then on the brakes here at the village. Different lines there. Tyler going a little bit wider while Wilfred taking the tighter inside line there. Just waiting for the time split to come up just so we can see the difference. So Wilfred last lap 202.9, Tyler's 202.9, so they're just about chasing each other down. And Robert still trying to get himself past Johan VDV within 0.2 of a second, really starting to add that pressure. But great line there for Johan, nice and tight on the inside as he goes through the second phase there of Brooklands, or through Laffield actually. So Robert right on the tail. Whoa, that was very close. Now into Beckett, a little bit wide there for Robert. Johan VDB nice and tight on the inside. But now will the BMW be able to close down on the Porsche? And just understanding that Gerard Janssen van Vieren is behind them, but he has pitted with Paul right behind. Paul starting to lose a little bit of ground there on Gerard. Not Gerard, Gerard. From 3.3 seconds now to 4.4. While this battle is going on We've got the three-way horse happening here, where Michael Struwik now splits himself between Advia and Flip van Zyl. Advia, the teammates for Flip van Zyl, and Tyler falling down the order because now we got Ruan. He's been pretty quiet this evening. He was just sitting in 4th place, but now he's got himself up in that 69 car, and he's in a 3rd place with Tyler right behind him. But what was just at the top of my screen is I saw this Sean really looking for this opportunity on Wayne. Great camera shot as they enter into Stowe. Onto the brakes now. Coming down the Vale. So Sean quite wide there. Robert Stoltz deciding to go into the pits now. And you can just see that time there between Tyler and Ruan. So it looks like Tyler got that position back, but we saw in that shot that Tyler is back into 3rd place with Ruan now down into 4th. But we are just going to keep it here with the race leader and 2nd place. Very, very close. So Kant's just supporting his man, saying Ty, just catching his breath. But just looking at the congestion down there, it is getting very, very congested. And that is from 3rd to 4th, 5th, 6th and 7th place. What if we were able to get a nice aerial view of that? And that's how close it is starting to get between 3rd down to 6th place. It's essentially 3 seconds are separating 3rd down to 7th position. And this is how close it is actually getting now. And we're going to start coming into a strategy, and I see Flip van Zyl deciding that now's the time to take his pit, just to get himself out of this traffic, out of these battles. That was Robert Stoltz down in 16th place. You can see just going straight on, not wanting to get involved with the racing that's happening. But a great exit out of the chapel there, and that is by Advia. Getting himself right alongside Ruan. He will have the inside here at Stowe, but does that now slow up Ruan, which allows Michael to close down on him. So Michael now very, very close, touching the grass there. So Ruan in 4th place, well, 5th place now. It's just updated now. They've gone over the split time there. The two Hondas are now going to be locked in their own little battle. And someone who's been very quiet this race is Adrian Bond. He is down in 7th place. We haven't seen much of him. All the action has been in the front, and it just seems like Adrian's stuck in this little bit of this no man's land currently in 7th place. But I'm sure once the pits are done, is that we will start seeing him slot somewhere in the Gerrit and Paul region. So Tyler 3rd place, starting to pull away from Advia. But Ruan not giving Advia too much breathing space. Still within, and while I say that, it is Michael Struwik who is saying, listen here, you're not going away from me just yet. So Flip van Zyl in 11th place. Currently leaders in terms of the drivers that have pitted. I thought Michael was going to have a nice little lunge there into Stowe, but that wasn't the case. Ruan just holding his line nice and tight on the inside for the first phase of these S's. You want to get that power on as soon as possible, but make sure that that car has settled. Otherwise the rear just likes to lift ever so slightly and you lose that traction. If we can jump on board with... Oh, a little mistake there by Ruan, a little bit too wide, but he should be able to hang on there. But you can have a much slower exit now as Michael gets on that power. Down the Wellington straight, braking just before the arrow, down into second gear. Lots of curb on the inside, then parted middle of the track, tighten up as you go past the second last Ballard. Get the power on. Cut as much of that corner as possible. Now into Cops, 50 meters, turn in on the curb. And we'll just stay on board as he goes through Mackett's and Beckett's. Whoa, looks like Michael didn't expect to have caught Ruan so quickly, so he had to back out of that. But I am looking up at the top, and Wayne is starting to pull away a gap from the second place Sean. So Wayne Bond in his Orion Racing outfit, really looking great there. So it does look like we've got Wolford that's moved up into 8th position, because he is ahead of Etienne in the Bulldog. Still saying that he is in 9th place, but we've got Etienne who is behind him. So I'm sure that will reset itself. There we go. So that is confirmation. Wilfred in 8th place. But now we've got some pressure being mounted on currently the fastest man on the track, and I've just realized that the fastest lap time icon color is exactly the same color as Tyler's car. Wonder whether that was intentional or that's just how that happened. But Aver now getting a great drive out of Chapel. It's going to be right up behind Tyler in that McLaren. But that McLaren definitely has got legs down the straight. Still no opportunity yet for Advia, but now coming through Club. Now hard on the brakes as he goes into the village. Nice and a wide entry there for Tyler. See a little bit of breathing space there now. Tyler's able to stop watching his mirror and get those lines sorted. So race leader Wayne Bond is just over a second ahead of the second place man. The Flip Van Zyl, currently the highest position driver in terms of those who have done a pit stop. And the interesting thing is that I am seeing that Paul Venter is closing up onto the back of Gerrit. There he is there. And Gerrit is 4.5 seconds behind Flip Van Zyl. So Paul taking out a little bit of time there and is able to just close that gap up ever so slightly. So to the guys that are on the stream, thank you very, very much for joining us. Don't forget that those comments are definitely hot and happening. Let us know who you're supporting, what you're thinking of the racing so far. Any predictions for the next 30 minutes? We're just about halfway through. And I must say that the pit stops generally do deliver. Because just when you think that the race is done and dusted, the pit stops just change the whole dynamic of everything once again. So Tyler's decided to go and do his pits. This is going to be very interesting. And Michael Strubeck came flying in there. So he's cut down that place. And just looking at that, it's going to be very interesting to see what the pit strategies are going to be. Trying to get some heat into those tires. But I do want to see where both of these guys come out relative to... Oh, mistake there by Michael, overshooting the pit box.
We are at the halfway mark, still a long way to go.
So, Flip Van Zyl, where are you on track, sir? So he's already gone past. So Tyler is now done with his pit stop. This is so frustrating. So there he is there, which has actually got him behind Flip Van Zyl. Could that be possible? And that it has. You can see Flip Van Zyl is currently the highest ranked of the drivers that have pitted, followed by Gerrit, then Paul Venter, then it's Tyler. So Ruan is 1.7 seconds behind Michael Strubeck. But Michael, you know, thinking that he would catch up and make some places over Tyler with that great dive into the pits. But just not able to get it stopped in time, running a bit wide and wasting some time there. So Wayne Bond is now in the pits. which is now releasing Sean out in front. So Sean in the Schick Extreme 3 car. So Wayne is out of the pits. We're just going to see where he's going to land up in comparison to Flip and Sail once Flip crosses that sector time, because then we'll know the gap between first and second, and where does that slot. So Wayne has come out behind Flip and Sail. And Wayne has got Gerrit right behind him with Paul Fenter. So Wayne was leading this race, but now after the pit stops, that has definitely changed. There goes the race leader, Flip van Sail. So as I mentioned, these pit stops always change the story completely, and now we have a very different view in terms of this race. And Gerrit right behind him. And I'm pretty sure this is not what Wayne was expecting, because now while he was ahead and just had Sean challenging every now and again, was he within that second, kind of just matching each other for pace. Now he has to fight for this position, but not only from Gerrit, but from Paul Fenter, who's now less or just over 1 second behind him. Last lap at 2:01 for Gerrit. Wayne Bond at 2:48. Would it be his pit? There is a back marker between the second place and the race leader Flip van Sail. That gap 3.9 seconds. So this battle that we're seeing now, I'm saying this is a provisional second, third and fourth. But we know that Sean Loureiro as well as Advia Marais, they still need to pit with Wilfred. And where do they then come out in this mix? So there is first, second, third and fourth place. Oh man, it could not have asked for a more interesting race as what we've got here. So it looks like Paul Fenter's strategy of pitting nice and early has definitely worked for him. Preserved those tires, and now is able to come out with a vengeance. Wayne has got two Hondas, one Audi and one Honda. I thought it was an Audi and a Honda for a second there. Looking at the car and not looking at the positions. Wayne doing whatever he can in his Dent Busters livery there. See all three drivers cutting the corner there. Going through Woodcote. Now into Cops. So Wayne closing up onto the back of Flip van Sail. That gap, the last lap, was 9 seconds. Now down to 8.3. So Flip van Sail, last lap, 2 minutes 0.8. 2:01 for Wayne, 2:01 for Gerrit, and a 2:0 for Paul Fenter. Now Paul looking to the inside. Decides not to have a look there. Gerrit was on the outside trying to defend that line. Paul having a look to the inside on the brakes. The Honda stops. He's able to get the car rotated through the next phase. So now out club down Hamilton Straight. He's going to see a Wayne Bond ahead of him as they now fly through Abbey. Cutting some of the corners at Farm. And we still have got two drivers up at the top there. And that is for Sean Loureiro, who is now currently in the pits. Where will he come out? As we are now looking at a Flip van Zyl as he's making his way around Luffield. It is saying that Sean is on his way out. But where is Flip? So Flip is now on the main straight. But it does look like Sean has managed to get himself ahead of Flip. So there's the Flip van Zyl, followed by Wayne Bond, Paul Venter and Gerrit. Just waiting for the sector times. So Sean Loureiro has definitely made his pit strategy work for him. So Tyler Scott goes into the pits. We've got Tyler Humphreys down in 8th place. Was leading this race in the beginning. Started losing a few places here and there. And then after his pit stop, just not seeming to get to grips with the car. The guys that pitted nice and early were not fighting for positions, just able to get the cars moving, find their clear track, get the lap times in, and those are the drivers that have been able to put themselves right near the top here. But I must say, I am very impressed with Sean. Is that I wonder whether he was just managing those tires, and as soon as Wayne went into the pits, is that he was able to just open up the pedal there, get the gas down, because he has an 8-second lead over Flip van Zyl. That's Wilfred in the pits. Just seeing that Adrian Bond was within a second just before they crossed that sector time. But Paul Venter is still on the back bumper of Wayne Bond. And it looks like Gerrit not letting this fight go away just yet. He is still hanging in there. And see that Wayne has closed that gap to Flip van Zyl. It was at 8 seconds. It is now down to 5 seconds. So judging by it's just about a second a lap, is in the next 8 minutes or so, is that we're going to have 3 drivers now right on the tail of that chic Quattro car of Flip van Zyl number 4. Just seeing Adrian Bond is closing up again on the back of Ruan. Another half a second taken out of Flip van Zyl, that lap round. So Paul right on the back. I think this is now the time he's pushing for an overtake. Really gonna take this attack down. Wayne staying to the right hand side of the track, really defending that inside. Is Paul able to have a look? Not close enough. Thank you very much, Ethan, giving us a approval. Oh, mistake there by Wayne. He's going to have to let both the drivers go through. And it was just that one little moment. And Paul's run himself a little bit wide, which is now going to put Gerard on the inside. Gerard allowing the space for Paul to go across his nose. And I think that was the better option. And that's purely because Paul would have had the faster outside line. Gerard probably would have understeered going into the corner. That Abbey is definitely very, very tricky because it does tighten as it closes out, and then you hit it to the left on farm. So Wayne definitely has his work cut out for him now. So while that gap was down to 4.5 seconds, it now has increased. That was 5.7 seconds between now Paul, who's in 4th place, to Flip van Zyl in 3rd. You see a 2:03 that last lap. See Flip van Zyl there in the background. 15 minutes left. And the field is pretty much spread out further down. So we will just keep the view here. Gerard not letting Paul Venter get away, but Wayne is still sticking there. He's also saying, guys, I made that mistake, but I'm definitely not going anywhere myself. So that gap now 4.5 seconds to Flip van Zyl. 13 minutes left of this race. We've still got our new race leader, and that is Hervé Marais in 1st place. Hasn't pitted yet. .4 seconds now between Paul Venter and Flip van Zyl in 3rd place. But let's go back to that battle, because that is where it is hot and happening at the moment. They're a little bit ahead now. That is Flip Van Zyl, so you can see that these three are definitely getting closer and closer and closer. We're on lap 23, 12 minutes left to go. Sean currently very comfortable there in second place. 10.7 seconds is the gap there between himself and Flip Van Zyl in third. But that gap, big sideways moment there for Gerrit. Is Wayne close enough to take advantage of that? He's not. So Gerrit will have to regroup there, but that's now allowing Paul to just open that gap between the two of them and drive his own race. Lots of inside curb there. That would have been quite hair-raising. So 32 seconds between Sean in second place and Erwin, who's currently in first. There we see Tyler Humphries, still the fastest man on the track, down in 7th position. I was just jumping onto Erwin to see whether this would have been the lap that he's going to pit. But a 2:01.6 that last time round. Versus Sean at 2:01.7, so the pace is definitely slowing down just a little bit. But in saying that, there's Flip Van Zyl, a 2-minute flat. Tyler Scott in the number 1 BMW Sim Racing, currently sitting in 13th place at 2:02, 2:09. So while the two in the front have definitely slowed down just a little bit, they are not slowing down here in the middle. Erwin turns into Abbey, now through the farm. A little bit of understeer there as he goes through the village, nice and tight through the loop, just allowing the car to open up as he gets that power down. The gap between Flip Van Zyl and Paul Venter now less than 4 seconds. With 4 laps or so to go. So Erwin not pitting just yet. They're getting very patient with that power. See how you just waited for that car to rotate. Got it, just having a little show to the inside of Paul. but no real threat there. But that's the type of things you should be doing, is you get your nose in, you show an intent to overtake, let that driver in front of you start looking at that rear view mirror, because all it starts doing is just creating that uncertainty. So Wayne in 6th place, starting to just drop back a little bit there. 2.2 seconds is the gap. There is the 3rd place man, Flip van Sail. You can see them at the top of the screen. So Thomas having another little visit to the pits. Just jumping forward, and here this ID. Over rotation there for Cutter, but he manages to save it. So Ruan right on the tail of Adrian now. And with that exit, he should get a great drive to set himself up at not Stowe or at Brooklands. To the inside it goes. Great overtake there by Ruan. So he'll get himself now up into a 9th place. So less than 5 minutes to go, and Erwin still has not put that pit stop in. He definitely is keeping it nice and tight there, and going to probably leave it right to the end. Tyler very, very wide there out of Stowe. So Paul and Gerrit still having a almighty battle, but this is what we were waiting for. Erwin now in the pits. Where is Sean? Currently on track. So that's him now going through the Woodcote corner. So he'll now take back that 1st place. So Erwin now coming out, and here comes Flip van Sail. So Erwin now back on track. But it is Sean ahead of him, then Erwin, then Flip, then this battle for against Paul and Gerrit. And these two are not giving up just yet. Nice tight line there for Paul. Gerard a little bit deeper. So we will have 2 laps left of this race, and you can just see how close Paul Fencer and Gerard have now got to Flip van Zyl. 3.8 seconds is that gap. And that pink 606 has been pushing extremely hard. That's the view I was looking for. Get it, waiting for that car to settle before it got into the power. One of the things that is needed going through Cops corner. Again, yeah, a little bit too tight there. That's going to just impact his exit. As the clock counts down, that is the end of the countdown. So this will be the final lap as Sean comes through. Little flash of the lights there. So first place there for Sean. Went the wrong way. Second is Ervia. Third place goes to Flip van Zyl. Paul Frenzer, a very, very hard fought 4th place. Gerard in 5th, and he too a great drive there. Wayne in a 6th place. I'm sure you'll be a little disappointed with that as well. Tyler leading from the start, but just struggling through those first couple of phases. Michael Struvic, great strong performance there for him. Lots of battles through the race there. Ruan, he'll come home in a 9th place. Also some amazing battles that he had there in the beginning there with Michael. So I'm sure that he might not enjoy the result, but definitely happy with the race that he had. Adrian Bond chasing down Johan VDV. Adrian Bond will finish in a 9th place. Followed by Wilfred. Wilfred also just hitting a little arrive and drive. Etienne will finish off in 10th in the Bulldog livery. Tyler Scott in 11th, if I can find you. There he is there. Johan VDV will come home in a 14th place, really just using up the rest of those tires. Robert Stoltz in a 15th place, the number 2 BMW, and then Thomas coming home in the number 11. He'll come home in a 16th place. So a big thank you guys to everybody that joined us on the stream. I have unfortunately had my Discord that is not allowing me to connect. I'm really having lots and lots of technology issues here this evening, but we'll definitely get the cameras ready for the driver interviews from next week, so do stick around for that. But a big thank you to all of those that came out and watched. A big thank you to the sponsors, ACC. Go check out acc.co.za to find out more about their products. If you want to order online, you're able to go check that out. But the product sponsor for the races, for the series, a shout out to LG. Lewin Governor saying incredible race, guys. Thank you, LG, for joining. Cans, thanks so much. We'll see who gets first dibs next week. Generally, Daniel War Machine Morales is the one who does that. Guys, all I can say is thank you very, very much for joining us. Keep practicing. And all I can say, guys, until then,